Can China be trusted now, or does India have no better option at this point? To discuss this further and in more detail, I'm now being joined by Ajay Bagga, market expert, live from Mumbai. Mr. Bagga, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for joining us here on World Business Watch. Can India look at China as an alternative for its exports to offset Trump's tariffs? Can India really trust China at this point, or is there no better option?
No, there will be options that will develop over time. China doesn't want a front with India open because its main hegemonic competition is with the US. This is the challenging superpower which is trying to dethrone the hegemon which is in place. So they are just closing one front with India temporarily. They are not our friends. They don't need any goods from India. Apart from agriculture and pure commodities, unprocessed commodities, there's nothing more that India can really offer China. They make textiles cheaper than us. They make steel cheaper than us. At scale, they make furniture cheaper than us. We don't make laptops. They make laptops. Even the electronics we are sending to them is not of very high caliber. They don't need our services per se because they have a surplus labor pool as well. So we have a massive trade deficit with China, which is not going away. And we have a massive trade deficit with the Asian countries, which are transshipping Chinese goods to us. So that is not going to go away. These Shanghai or BRICS and all are just small-time platforms. It is more symbolic, more signaling, but the main engagement has to be with the US, with the EU, with our role in Quad. The Russians are poor friends of India. Unfortunately, they are weakened now, but China definitely, no trust. What we have to do is a Vietnam kind of a model, a Taiwan kind of a model, where you allow investments, you allow technology transfer to come in so that there is a cost to a future Chinese aggression. We have to get the capital from China to fund our growth, and we have to link into the global supply chain, where China is the value adder to 35% of global supply chain. So you have to engage with China, but we have very little to directly offer to China. We should accept their capital, let them come in, let their companies come in. Understood. And offer us technology and capital.
Understood. Mr. Bagga, in terms of, let's be a little more specific now in this next part, any specific sectors that you feel which can benefit from the India-China ties for both countries individually?
See, our electronics manufacturing already has grown, and it is a misnomer. We say we export $10 billion of electronics to the US or to the world. But if you look deeper, just one level lower, we are adding about 28% value add. Most of the intermediates for those electronic goods are coming from China or from China proxies in ASEAN. So that supply chain we should grow further, electronic goods. Then we should look at laptops and other computer peripherals. We should become manufacturers of those. Third, what I was mentioning, how Vietnam built a $130 billion goods export business into the US. That is through Chinese companies, Chinese capital to a large extent. So we should welcome Vietnamese capital to come in because that is a beneficiary of Chinese capital. So I would say auto ancillary, electronics, computer related, these goods definitely. Textiles, we have a larger history than China, but they beat us hollow on their productivity and on their costing and quality. So there it's a different game, but definitely high tech, and we should welcome the Chinese capital.
Mr. Bagga, like all countries, even China has their own strategy of how to deal with Trump and the tariffs, and they're also yet to get to a final strategy on that front. But as far as India is concerned, no trust with China, they're not our friends, bad history, bad recent history, and then there is the largest part of our shared border, which is with this country. What are the challenges that India is likely to face with China's strategy to offset Trump's tariffs?
Very good question. Very good question. And how do you have a strategy when one player in the whole scheme changes his views every few hours? So you have to just neglect to look at the noise. The noise is not the signal. You have to see the fundamentals. The US can't do without China. It's a hollowed out manufacturing base. The Europeans can't do without China. There's hardly one or two steel makers left in Europe. The hollowing out of manufacturing that happened since 2000 when China entered the WTO and has grabbed the title of the factory of the world, it's not going to reverse with one Trump or these tariffs. So the higher end goods will be produced there. We have to find our own positioning. Where will we be positioned? Are we going to be a Malaysia or Vietnam? Or are we going to be China +1, which I doubt we'll be able to do much? Or we embed ourselves so much in the Western supply chains because China will weaponize its economic might sooner or later. The Western countries are very much aware of it. The US is aware of it. So they would like alternate friend shoring to happen. There India can play a role. But it needs to be treated as a friend. Right now, friends and foes are treated with the same brush. So that leaves very little geopolitical space. That will increase. The geopolitical space will come back. Our natural allies are the Western democracies. We are a democracy. So we will pass this also. But India has to find its niche. And I don't think anyone will allow us to become an export superpower. Those are just dreams. When China grew, there was no China in the world. Now, when we try to take some goods away from them, there's a China sitting. You saw those reports that Foxconn had to send back 300 Chinese engineers. Now they're flying in Taiwanese engineers. China will not let you prosper or to grow as an alternative to them. And as far as the military strategy goes, that has been written in the 1990s. It's in the public domain where the Chinese generals have laid claim to large tracts of northeast and northwest India and right up to Vladivostok and eastern Siberia. It is only last 100 years that some of those portions were of Russia were Russian. Before that, the Treaty of Siberia with the Tsar, most of those were claimed to be Mongolian or Chinese. So the Chinese have a revisionist history. They look at India as not as a natural ally, but as an enemy state. But they will take Taiwan first, and then they will come for us. So we have to be ready. We have to be vigilant. But welcome their capital. Vietnam is at war with them. In South China Sea, they had a land conflict.
I understand what you're saying, sir. We need to proceed with caution and we can't ignore the history as it has been all these years. And that being said, India's growth story is one which is great news for India, but the entire world is watching and nobody wants somebody else to take their space. India is obviously cautious of that too. Thanks so much for joining us. That was Ajay Bakka joining me from Mumbai.